Umamusumes are born with a single purpose: to run. To run faster than anyone else with pride, strength and unwavering integrity. To feel their legs drive them forward as the world blurs behind them, the lead shimmering in their eyes and the smell of grass and victory sealing their place in history. So what happens if you can't run? If your legs can't even support your own weight? Will you lose your purpose? Will the shadow of your own meaning consume you? Will you give up? From the ashen horse who was never meant to run to the most beloved superstar in history, this is the legend of the great-haired monster, Augury Cap. I recently did a video on the global game sensation Umamusume Pretty Derby where I briefly mentioned the anime adaptation of the same name. 3 seasons, 1 movie and 2 spin-offs. Not long ago I watched through all of it because I am unemployed and 3 of these really stuck out to me. Season 2 by Studio Kai, Beginning of a New Era by Cygames Pictures and Cinderella Grey also by Cygames Pictures. While all of these deserve their own video, there was one of these that stuck out to me the absolute most. Umamusume Cinderella Grey is a standalone spin-off series that was released on April 6, 2025. Being produced by Cygames in-house studio, who had previously released both the movies Road to the Top and Beginning of a New Era, the production that is seen in this show is some of the best, after Beginning of a New Era, that was stupid good, animation that has ever had the pleasure to hit my retinas, and is all dedicated to the one and only 6 scene itself, Augury Fat. The gluttony sickens me. The story follows Augury Cap, the humble grey-haired horse hailing from the countryside of Gifu Prefecture in Japan. Standing at a daunting 167 centimeters tall and about 3 times the weight, she attends the Gifu Kasamatsu Academy alongside her best friend Nobody. She knows nobody in this school, to begin with at least. This girl is spelled No Light, not based on a real horse but looking awfully similar to this one. Light will become a guiding beacon for Augury, not in a racing sense, no, she is actually like really ass, but as one of her few only true friends. Someone who stands beside her in both win and defeat and supports her unconditionally. Something that is new and unexplored for Augury, but not because she was outcasted or bullied, but rather because she lived in the middle of nowhere. Meeting anyone at all was already a miracle, let alone being close enough to get bullied. Her socially inept tendencies just stems from the lack of exposure to other people, and while having strong values her mother passed on to her, she can't really tell A from B. In her eyes, bully number 1 here, also known as Norn Ace, was considerate because she forced her to sleep in the storage shed instead of sharing the dorm room with her. To her, malice intent doesn't exist. It isn't born, but created.
貴様は何のために走っている？何を目指してレースに出る？
何のため？
Why am I racing? Every horse girl has a reason why they run. Some chase the shadow of their idol, others hunger for the undefeated record. Do you train because your rival is in the same race or because a trophy is waiting for you at the finish line? Is it the roar of the crowd that pushes you forward or the bitter memory of loss that drives you to fight harder? No matter the reason your feet move on that turf, you need a purpose. Without a purpose, you lose the one thing that held you together. The one thing that made you, you. You need a goal. You need a place. You need a reason to run. Or do you?
なんで？走れるから。
Because I can. You see, Augury Cap was born with terrible knees, so bad in fact that as a toddler, she couldn't even stand up. But by extensive massages lasting for hours each and every day by her mother, she did not only manage to walk, but run in a way no other horse could ever do. Developing freak flexibility in her knees and legs, her body allowed her to keep an impossibly low profile while running without losing any range of motion. A style that could not be replicated, let alone even attempted by anyone but her. Flying past her competition in the school's running test, including taking about 15 minutes to tie her undid shoelace, she was not only a fast horse, she was...
そんなスターが
Kitahara Jo, an academy trainer with only one goal: to forge a dim star of Gifu into the brightest star the world had ever seen. A horse adored everywhere she went, a beacon of unyielding support from fans far and wide. And that's where he found Oguri. Kitahara ignited the fire inside her, the burning passion for running, allowing them both to finally dream. A relationship not only based in training, but something much more deeper and grounded: emotion and soul. On the other side of the spectrum stands her equal, Fujimasa March. Also not based on a real horse, but looks awfully close to this one. A much more typical diamond in the rough, focused, disciplined, and armed with raw, terrifying determination. While sharing the same goal as Oguri to win the Tokai Derby, unlike her, March don't just want to win, she believed she was destined to. Her standoffish attitude was backed by years of brutal training, cutting away friendship and warmth to only pursue nothing but victory. There was only one outcome in a race, and that was March being number one. The pure burning obsession with being the best made her an unbelievable force on the turf, refusing to lose to anyone. The one to steal her undefeated record and crush that focus was none other than Oguri Cap. After losing to her in their junior debut by a neck length, where March showed just that burning obsession to win at all cost, the difference between the two stars was evident. One ran because she was destined to win, while the other ran because she finally could. It was a battle of want, a mental place Oguri never had to go before. Maybe it made sense on paper that she needed to come first, but what did it really mean to compete against others? It's not just your own running that is important anymore, but every other racer on that turf. March might have won by a neck, literally, but also awakened something far more dangerous. The Ashen monster who now knew the bitter taste of defeat.
第15回ジュニアクラウン、続いての馬娘は今話題の大型ルーキ
ー。ならば先に、よし行こう。負けるものか、誰にも。お前には負けん。
The smile of the inevitable victory got wiped off the genius face, only to be replaced by frustration, anger, and most of all, fear. No one had ever stood as her equal, let alone surpassed her. The back she swore she would never see kept moving further and further away. The unbeatable had been beaten. The monster had been unleashed. And from that moment forward, an unbelievable rivalry was born. One might get lost in their dreams, especially when they start becoming true. Oguri was too good, a star burning far too bright in a region with no natural obstacles to temper her. And the brighter a star shines, the more eyes will turn to look at it. Among those eyes was Symboli Rudolph, the first 7-crown winner and the student council president of the highly prestigious Traisen Academy. Seeing the abundance of talent, she would personally scout Oguri to the nationals, a level Kitahara was not licensed to train at. He would lose his star. As only a regional trainer, he was now faced with a gut-wrenching decision: to send his star to the nationals or keep her by his side to fulfill his dream of winning the Tokai Derby. The decision he made was an ultimatum, so unfair and deeply painful to Oguri. If you win this next race, you'll go to the nationals. If not, we'll aim for the Tokai Derby.
本気で言ってるのか。
Oguri herself had made it clear that she had no intention of leaving if Kitahara didn't come with. But all of a sudden, she was now forced to lose if she wanted to stay here, to keep her promise not only to Kitahara, but to March. This is betrayal. How did this happen? Where are you going? Why are you leaving me? The screams that were only answered by a cold stare. A mask she wore deliberately because March needed that anger, that frustration in order to beat her. Because deep down, she wanted to lose. The nationals meant nothing to her, and perhaps neither did the Tokai Derby anymore. If the dream she shared with Kitahara could be discarded so easily, was it really that important at all? It was a race where emotion and doubt shackled her. She couldn't run the way she wanted. It was hard to breathe, her legs felt heavy. For the first time, running was painful. So deeply agonizing that it felt like she was being ripped apart. Maybe there was a reason she was never meant to run.
走れ走れ走るんだ
わかった。
オードリーキャップいった。
そして誰か愛されるような、そんな唯一無二の馬娘になれ。
クソクソ。
オグリキャップぐんぐん後続を引き離す。強すぎる。
She did it. Oguri was going to the nationals, to shine on the biggest stage possible. There was no malice, no anger, but acceptance. Like two pieces of a puzzle, no matter how far apart they are, they will always find their way back to each other. It was not a goodbye, but a promise to reunite once again. In the end, Cinderella Grey is more than just another story about silly horse girls. It's a chronicle of self-discovery, perseverance, talent versus hard work, and above all, self-belief. What began as a story of a quiet outsider became something far greater, a testament to the underdog spirit, a living symbol of resilience against impossible odds, a battle against fate itself. Alongside Bell No Light, Fujimasa March, Kitahara Yo, and so many others who helped to shape her path, Oguri Cap forged a legacy that transcends racing itself. One of the most timeless triumphs of the most popular horse of all time. When destiny denies you the very thing you were born for, you are left to forge a new destiny so powerful that even fate itself must bow to it. This is Cinderella Grey.